So I'm surprised with San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't see a whole lot of extra cool stuff outside of maybe a couple second trailers for like, Thor but nothing really.
Nothing new and surprising.
Nothing new and surprising.
I think I was surprised by one thing. I think something came up. Oh, Ready Player One. That one caught me by surprise because I hadn't heard about it yet. We'll watch the trailer for it shortly.
Okay. I probably saw the preview.
Steven Spielberg. Basically, all of our childhood shoved into a video game.
Yeah.
Like a holodeck kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh my god, that trailer! I just about lost my shit when I saw that.
Yeah, I think I was talking about.
Because it's just, even Amber was like, yeah, but it's all CGI, which normally I would also be like, eh. But this is CGI of my imagination. This is the Iron Giant walks in and the DeLorean flies by and all these other crazy things that we've seen for years shows up in this one movie. Like, oh my god.
What are we watching? What are we doing?
We are back.
We're back.
Rants. We're back. And we are discussing the upcoming TV and film this fall.
Okay.
So I have a series of trailers here. What are you looking for?
I want to start with Deadpool.
Well, Deadpool what? The cartoon or the movie?
The movie.
Okay, the movie's not coming out till next year.
I understand that.
All right, I'll find it.
I want to bring up something about Deadpool while you're searching for things.
Well, all right.
Did anybody hear about the...
Accident?
Yes. So they had a motorcycle stunt woman who died on the set.
I heard about the Walking Dead stunt person that died, but I didn't hear about that one.
That came out after this one. It was like,
really?
Stunt people having insurance and all this.
Here we go. Deadpool 2, stunt person dead.
Yeah. Go ahead and...
I'll find a video of it.
There may not be actual footage of the thing.
No, I'm not looking. I don't want footage. I just want a report. Footage, Jesus.
But they halted filming for a while. I think they may still be on a standby.
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody had any news or any updates to that. And the reason why I bring this up is that 10, 12, whoever know years, has actually looked into becoming a stuntman. When I
think I remember you talking about that.
When I first left active duty, I actually went to LA to learn how to become a stuntman. And then about 5 or 6 years later, you and I were sitting at Post 1, and I'm looking up how to become a stunt driver. And they had one of the most prominent schools in Coos Bay, Oregon. So I started researching that, and I'm like, wow, this is just awesome. And the dangers, and they're talking about, do you become specialized in your stunts or whatever? And I was like, yeah, you become specialized. You're either stunt driver, you do you could be a general stunt
wire work or yeah.
Where I wanted to be a stunt driver
Deadly
at that time.
On a Hollywood set. We're learning new details this morning about the stunt driver killed while filming Deadpool 2. It's just the latest in a series of on-set accidents, and TJ Holmes is here with more. Good morning, TJ.
Hey, good morning, Straighthead. This stunt actor was billed as the first African-American female professional road racer. She raced motorcycles for a living, but her family says this was her
I like how
first
they
time
bring
working
race
as a
into
stunt
it.
actor on a
Always.
film
It
set.
has nothing to do with
Now, the
race.
question
Yeah.
this morning about how did this happen?
She's the first African American.
Through the window of a vehicle or something? No, after lost control, went across the street, over a curb, and through a glass pane window into a building across the street.
That's how emergency dispatchers describe the deadly crash on the set of Deadpool 2 in audio obtained by TMZ after a stunt woman lost control of her motorcycle during filming.
And just so America is aware, the stunt actor was airborne through the building.
We people confirmed that the stunt woman was Joy Harris, nicknamed SJ.
Harris, seen here in a competition in 2015, was a professional motorcycle racer from Brooklyn. She was pronounced dead on the set in Vancouver, where the movie has been filming since June. She reportedly had performed the stunt successfully 4 times before something went wrong on the 5th take.
This was reportedly Joy Harris's first major film role.
Deadpool 2 is a follow-up to the 2016 hit that broke box office records and included a number of thrilling action sequences.
Sorry, it's hard to laugh.
Reynolds paid tribute to the stunt woman on Twitter. We're heartbroken, shocked, and devastated, but recognize nothing can come close to the grief and inexplicable pain her family and loved ones must feel in this moment. This is the second death of a stunt actor this summer. Production on the AMC hit The Walking Dead was stopped after a stuntman fell 2 stories onto the concrete below a month ago. And the Deadpool accident comes just one day after Tom Cruise slammed into a building while attempting his own stunt while filming Mission Impossible 6 in London.
Oh, that dude is so old.
Yeah, I heard him sing pretty good.
Relatively rare. One is too many, of course. But there are a lot of questions about what was going on with Joy Harris. We don't believe she was wearing a helmet because the character in the movie wouldn't have been wearing a helmet. Also, the update on Tom Cruise. The Sun is now reporting that he has possibly broken bones in his ankle. So that could shut down production for a while. This is going to raise a lot of questions now about safety on film.
It seems like the stunts are getting riskier and riskier because you got to have bigger stunts.
So
It's not making fun of him.
Riskier.
It's not his fault they have the lift.
But it brings up one of those things that, you know, pirating movies and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I know at the it's huge. I'm not going to drop any names of who does a lot of it. But you see those commercials, please don't pirate, you know, and you have, well, your wife, but you and have a friend that does movie sets and everything else. And it takes away money.
She's a set designer.
Yeah, it takes away money from those people. I mean, how many people work on a movie, and then you think
Hundreds,
about this,
thousands.
yeah,
sometimes.
and then you take the stunt doubles, and you don't really appreciate those people. Like in all the movies, the superhero movies and villains that we see the stars, but really it's those guys doing. They're the real stars of the movie because they're the ones that take the Watch the Monument. Example.
Yeah.
That was probably CGI.
Most, if not
more
all.
likely.
Yeah.
But there was probably some wire work.
There probably some.
Yeah, they probably got a license for some guy to climb a little bit of that.
Or maybe a mock-up set of it that's like 2 stories high.
Yeah.
Still high enough to kill you, as the Walking Dead guy proved.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, as movie fans, that we never take the time to appreciate stunt people or set people or people that set that up and notice the safety awareness of what's going on, the situational awareness of what's going on, and even the set designers like your friend. It just made me think that we should say something that we appreciate.
Oh yeah.
All of those guys do, and they're truly the stars versus, you know,
The guy sitting at a computer doing CGI work.
well, the guys.
And those guys are cool too.
Yeah, well,
but-
even the Robert Downey Jr.'s or the kid that did Spider-Man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they didn't do any stunts themselves. I'm just saying that they didn't do any stunts themselves. They don't put themselves. They're worth too much to put the money.
well, the insurance wouldn't allow it.
yeah.
Look at Tom
and
Cruise. Just got hurt trying to... The dude's 50. All right,
The
come
dude's
on.
60.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he has the best... Don't get me wrong. He's got the best plastic surgeon in Hollywood.
Right.
The guy looks like he fell off the set of Top Gun yesterday.
Right.
But he can't do this shit anymore. He just... And you're absolutely right. Me personally... I've been into... What got me into podcasting was actually listening to commentaries for movies. And commentaries talk a lot about stunt work and things like that. You go back to The Lord of the Rings and... the stunts that they had to do a lot of weird stunts there because you had characters that were smaller or bigger than others, and they did a lot of camera tricks and CGI tricks to make that work. But a lot of times those people were people in those suits. They were smaller people. They were stuntmen a lot of times, and a lot of them got hurt. And I remember reading, even as a kid, a lot of people get hurt doing stunts. But it seems like now, you're right, there's an escalation factor.
So this goes back to one of my favorite TV shows of all time, which made me want to go down the stunt person road.
The Fall Guy.
The Fall Guy. I love the Fall Guy. I love the truck.
Yeah,
It was one of my favorite trucks. I loved Lee Majors.
You can't beat
know,
Lee Majors, man.
Like the sarcasm and all that is like. But he was always in the Fall Guy, and I don't know how true it is, but he was always broke. Now you take the Fall Guy, and you put him to the stunt people that we do know. Now who's a stunt?
Jackie Chan's team.
Well, no, I was going.
He does his own.
I was going to go a little bit deeper than that.
Okay.
Who are the stunt people that we watched in movies and in particular MTV?
No, Jackass.
Jackass.
Yeah.
Those guys were stuntmen.
Doesn't
They
surprise
started
me.
out
Yeah.
as stuntmen. And they did their basically home videos of stupid shit that they did. You know, really stupid shit that they did. You know. But when they started Jackass, they weren't millionaires. They made probably, you know, $70,000 a year, you know, decent living.
More than we make.
You know, but they were really good at they weren't your, beginning stuntmen. They'd been doing it for 10, 12 years.
So they had a good series of broken bones.
Yeah,
which means when they're like 60, they're gonna be arthritic
yeah,
as fuck.
they had earned their money, but stuntmen are contractors.
Yeah.
They don't have insurance. They have medical insurance while they're on the set, but after the movie ends, they're back to nothing. It makes me appreciate more, and it sucks that this is a tragedy that wakes us up. But every once in a while, you see it.
I think that back in when we were kids, stuntmen were a lot more vital because there wasn't all the CGI work. There wasn't all the green.
Yeah.
There was green and blue screen, but not. They still had to have stuntmen doing things. I think in the '90s and the aughts, and I mentioned Jackie Chan. Because one of the great things about his movies is he always shows his bloopers at the end of the movie when he tries his own stunts. He's hurt himself. There was a couple, I think, not Rumble in the Bronx, but another one of those movies where he was actually like water skiing on his feet with a fake tennis shoe cast because he'd broken his ankle in an earlier stunt. He's beat the shit out of himself doing that stuff. And he has a team that follows him around. Like every movie he does, he has his own team. And I think that's when we started becoming aware of this stuff. And I think as say the Star Wars prequel era came up, more CGI work was being done, less stunt work was being done. And as cool as that was, and I understand why they were doing it, it was cheaper, it was safer, it was whatever. We started as audiences going, that looks fake, So then let's flip back around. You get to J.J. Abrams and Star Wars, or you get to George Miller and Mad Max. Not all, but a lot of practical stunts. So stunt work is coming back again. On the flip side of that coin is what you just said. We're going to have more injuries because there's an escalation factor. Wow. We've set such a high bar with CGI and special effects that it isn't like it was 20, 30 years ago. Now they have to do shit like on Mad Max. Those guys on the fucking poles, that was all real. They all really did that in the desert, in freaking Australia. Yeah. And that was just asking for somebody to get impaled or run over or some shit. I'm amazed nobody died on that one. And you're absolutely right. I think that they're going to have to rein that in somehow. They're going to have to find a happy balance between special effect and stunt work.
I don't know about that because if you, I mean, we all, and I made fun of this with one of my coworkers because her husband's retired military. But you think about it. We would smoke, then go run 2 miles for a PT test.
Oh yeah, we were all
now. You guys, there's no smoking in the military, basically. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't, But it's calmed down. I got promoted because I smoked with my chief.
Oh, I know.
That was it. That's how you got promoted is because you were out there with the chief. Sometimes he was bumming, most of the time he was bumming a cigarette from me. I mean,
I think the only guy, on my Facebook that didn't serve with me at our last base that is Vic. Vic's, but I never smoked with Vic. For some reason, I don't know what the deal is. But everybody else, Dan and everybody, we all sat around and smoked with them all day.
But just like evolution, military is these guys are more fit, more athletic, more in physical stuff.
Which we are now too.
Yeah.
We're looking down the barrel of middle age.
Right. I'm 42 and I'm in the best shape of my life.
No
That's
shit.
Fucking weird.
I could kick the shit out of my 20-year-old self.
Right. But I think that's just the evolution is, we are asking more, but we're able to ask more because these guys aren't a fat Joe climbing into a car, after, downing a bottle of whiskey and a cigarette. Oh, I could do this. And I think it takes the manly element out of it and puts the practical element into it is by being fit and physically able and stronger, faster.
Well, you're more likely to recover from an injury.
Well,
the better shape that you're in.
You can apply this to any analogy. You can go sports where in the 70s they snorted cocaine. They probably
baseball players were just horrible.
But snorted cocaine or smokes. There were basketball players that would go out have a cigarette during halftime and then come back in like Vlade Divac. He'd smoke 3 or 4 cigarettes, come back and play the second half of a fucking NBA
I can't
Finals.
imagine that.
Nowadays, you see an athlete smoking, really, that would not fucking happen. Name one that you can.
Michael Phelps, but that was weed.
That was weed. Weed's different.
Weed's different.
Weed's different. I'm talking about cigarettes here during halftime.
Weeds is much less deadly than cigarettes.
But that's the mentality is the manly mentality versus the smart. And I'll admit when I retired, those kids were much smarter about health and fitness and shit than I had ever been. Ever.
Well, it's like I said earlier about my doctor. I told everybody I maxed out at one point at 238. 238 pounds. I'm down to 214. Just 2 days ago, I went to see my doctor for my annual exam. I stepped on the big cattle grate, and it said 214, and I was thrilled.
Yeah.
But however, recently my wife said something to me, and the doctor very nearly said the same thing to me. Well, how often are you going to the gym? Like 5 times a week. And he kind of looks at me like, how are you not Schwarzenegger at this point? Because I eat like shit.
Yeah.
And because that's,
Yeah.
I'm still in the best shape of my life, but I still eat like crap. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we have to be more. He's like, I'll hook you up with a nutritionist. I'm like, dude, I know how it works. I know what I'm supposed to be eating. I'm just not fucking giving up pizza.
Well, yeah, it's like I tell everybody, like, my doctor tells me it doesn't work that way. Like she literally, like, but I smoke a cigarette, then I'll run 5 miles. My doctor will be like, it doesn't work that way. They don't cancel each other out. I'm like, I know, but
yeah,
I still could smoke a cigarette and run 5 miles. I don't know, in my mind, I still win. And I don't think that mentality is going to ever get out of me.
Yeah, you guys need to. I mean, I smoke every once in a while, but only because you guys smoke.
Right. But eating, like, I like cookies. And she, I love cookies.
You were upstairs chomping on a cupcake a little bit ago.
Like, she's like, it doesn't work like that. I was like, yeah, but I look at my grandfather, like, he's 90,000 years old, like, he never ran a mile since he was in the Army in World War II.
On the flip side of that, though, I look at my grandfathers, who were both very active. Neither of them smoked. Neither of them drank. And they lived into their 80s, and they were healthy up, just 5 years ago. My grandpa, I saw him swinging from the rafters in a house, putting a roof on. My grandpa Al, who a year and a half ago, he and I were out cutting firewood. Yeah. In the middle of the woods. It's just
one is mentality and one is the fear. It goes back to the George Carlin, like, I swam in the
raw sewage in the
raw
Hudson.
Sewage, and I have this immune system,
and I never got polio ever.
And people that use hand sanitizer and, like, constantly, they're the ones that are always getting sick because they don't build up that immune system.
That's right.
I'm not saying that I eat the cookie, so I'm going to live just as long. Or I smoke, so I'm not saying that. I know there's a fine line between the two, but there's also a genetic and an exposure.
George Burns smoked what till the end?
Yeah, and he was like
90 something. He almost hit 100.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He almost. I don't think he quite did.
But there's a genetic and there's a mindset to both of them, and exposure is huge to me. Like, allergies and everything else, but we're getting off topic. The big
stuntman. Back to the stuntman.
The big thing is that, and I think this is why Marvel does what they do, and I think a few others is.
By Marvel, you mean the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yes, is they make you wait through the whole credits because they want to recognize everybody, and I think
that's a good point.
I think I remember saying that the first movie, and I'm sure it wasn't Marvel, but that's their whole intention, is they want you to recognize how many people work on this movie, how many people are involved in what's going on, from the guy who just hands them a sandwich to the actual actor, like that wide spectrum.
Wasn't Iron Man the first one to do that?
I don't think Iron Man was the first one ever to do that.
But it was around that era, though. It was around that period of time.
I remember because if you look at it, Clue did that.
The movie Ferris Bueller did that.
Ferris Bueller did that.
You're right,
there were movies that did that, but I don't know if that was their intention.
It wasn't a regular thing.
It wasn't a regular thing, and I don't know if that was their intention. But it's definitely, to me, if you think about it, that is Marvel's intention. And I've thought about this, especially since the death, and I've thought about this before, is that they want you to recognize that, it's not. Even Robert Downey Jr. will say, it's not about me.
I show up, I deliver some lines, I look good and funny, and I go home.
Yeah, and basically that's what he did in Spider-Man. Really, yeah, Homecoming.
Showed up for a couple days.
Actually, I thought there was too much Robert Downey Jr. in Spider-Man,
really?
to tell you the truth. Definitely, yeah.
Is that Aunt May on the phone? What's she wearing?
That's the entire intention of the Marvel movies. If you go back and think about it, and you actually listen to the directors and everybody else, I remember hearing that specifically. We do that because that makes you sit through the credits and recognize some of those names, some of those people, and how many people are involved in these movies, versus just getting up right after the end scene and going away. Do I like it?
Well, like you mentioned, our friend that does set design, Becca.
Yeah.
We've actually watched a couple of movies that she's been involved in, and we've looked for her name. And she took us last year, the year before last, to the Warner Brothers lot.
Okay.
I had a ball. I mean, we went through the props department. I walked up to the fucking Batmobile. I should have gotten a picture. How stupid am I? But I'm still looking. I'm looking at all these props, and I'm like, I've seen this in a movie. I've seen this. And you start to realize what's entailed, what's involved. Oh, you all right?
No, I'm just standing.
Okay. Earl's about to pass out.
No, I'm tired.
I know you are.
I've been since 3 o'clock this morning.
Oh.
So,
Yeah. Earl's older than the rest of us, so.
Yeah.
I actually work today.
Is he? No, he's not.
He's older than us.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
I'm older than you and you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I think. Yeah.
I just wanted to hear him say it.
Stepped into that one, didn't you? Oh, wow. You were out of it, dude.
Yeah, I turned 43 this year.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Yeah,
You're not as old as Jeff, though. Jeff's the old one.
Yeah.
he was the old one.
He's like 45.
But for this show, I wanted to bring her up and say,
Yeah.
hey, you
You and
it
everybody
sucks.
else.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It really does suck that it brings your death to the attention, and one probably hasn't happened for a long time because of CGI, which is amazing considering you think of all the Fast and Furious and all of that. So
Yeah.
I appreciate all the work that they put into, even though I don't think of it consistently as much as we all should.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, you're absolutely right. Salute.